Thank you for calling Call-In Studio's host and call screener line. Please enter your show. And
all right, ready? We're ready.
Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. It is the MLO Bros on the Youngstown's Talk Channel here in downtown Youngstown. We are live right now in Youngstown Studio with a grumpy Joe. Hi, Joe.
He's not grumpy. He's stressed.
He's stressed. Something's wrong.
He's
Something's in the air in this place this morning. But
he doesn't even. Oh, wait.
He doesn't have a microphone.
Where's your
That's
mic
how
at?
upset.
Hand me that one.
That's how upset Joe is today.
Wait, is that
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that right?
Got it.
so? Joe, what's wrong?
Nothing, just stressed. I'm good though. I
I just want to hug him, and he won't let me.
He is.
when I
grumpy.
get stressed, I just want to go to a quiet place with no other people and just
In worst case scenario, I brought our sister in here.
Dude, so he wants to go to a quiet place, and the worst people to be around is you and I.
Right.
Like because we're just like continually poking him because we know.
Yeah, and then we bring another Schuster in here,
Oh,
Patty, who owns Posh Pristine Cleaning, who does all of our cleaning for us. She's great, and reach out if you need somebody to clean your house or
she's actually like super duper clean.
very good. She cleans all of our listings, cleans all of our buyers' houses as a move-in gift. She's fabulous. But I sent her in here too, and she's just as loud and obnoxious as Luke and I.
She's bad as us.
no. She was actually pretty likable.
There you go.
Actually, pretty likable.
That was
I
a
don't
little
know.
underhanded.
Wow.
I don't know how I'm supposed to interpret that.
Wow, that one. Jeez.
Actually, pretty likable.
Oh, all right. So
Luke, write that down.
yeah, pretty likable. Actually likable.
Write
All right.
that down.
So today we have some local stuff to talk about because a lot of the stuff we touched last week and the week before got like stuff coming back for it.
Yeah.
West Branch, South Range schools.
Okay.
The Tito thing where he said, I want to hire people that look like us.
Okay.
And then
I have a question for you guys.
what's that?
On a national level, we can talk.
And national leather too. Let's talk first about Tito.
Okay.
Mayor Tito Brown.
What did he say? Let's start with that.
Just to review, to reset the pins. Last week, he said, and I'm going to kind of
meeting. What was the meeting about?
So it was it was a forum or something like that.
Mhm.
And he was making comments and made a comment about how he said, quote, I like to hire people who look like us,
including the police chief,
and the fire chief,
okay,
who are all black.
Okay.
We didn't, to me, and I think everybody that in here, it was hire who's best, not based on the color.
Correct. Doesn't matter what they look like. You hire who's best.
Exactly. Who's best for the job. And all kinds of people came out of the woodwork saying, I didn't get hired because of this. You know, like it was crazy with the amount of things. And then, you know, and we don't live in Youngstown.
Right. And it's actually, now that you say that, it's kind of like an insult to the people who work there.
Yes.
Because it's the people who work for the government.
Why did you get hired?
You weren't hired because you're best for the job. You
right.
were hired because of how you look, which is also kind of a backhanded insult too.
And you got to remember, just a month before, he got accused of hiring
his niece,
his daughter-in-law.
Yes.
And even though it said, "Oh, I didn't do it," so what this freaking guy does, what the mayor did is the news called him out on it after we pushed them because they weren't covering it.
Right.
So we pushed and pushed and pushed. I was emailing him, tagging
him.
What did he
say? What was his excuse?
When I said us, I was referring to us, the entire city of Youngstown. Like,
but what does that look like, sir?
Right.
And
right.
if we look a certain way, what does that have to do with being best for the job?
It was such a backhanded, like it was such a cover up, backpedaling,
yeah.
like you wouldn't believe because he knew he was busted.
Yeah.
And then we also, if you remember, we said like when you look at the statistics, Youngstown is like 40% white, 40% black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was saying that was his backtrack was, I said us because Youngstown's made up.
Yeah, but it still doesn't matter whatever we look like.
Just hire the best person.
Just hire the best person.
Right.
Yeah.
And the news did not call him on it at all.
Yeah.
Of course. You know what I mean? So it's the same old thing. But what did happen, let me pull this up. So, you know, Mark Canzanetta?
Yeah.
He is the owner and CEO of Casa di Canzanetta.
Right around the corner.
He's been affected by the traffic. He's a business owner. He's been affected by that. He wrote
the building exploding right next to his,
and then he was shut down.
The road construction, COVID,
yes,
everything that's happening in downtown.
And he wrote a response, and I'm going to read this. It's long, but it's good. This was on his Facebook page. Dear Mayor, I regret that I will not be able to attend your speech. I guess he has a speech coming up. But as a longstanding member of the downtown business community, I feel compelled to express my concerns. I am disappointed that your address will not, it was his mayor address. Mayor address will not address the after effects of the disastrous Smart 2 road projects and the lack of crisis management following Realty Tower explosion and its subsequent demolition. Both of these events have had severe financial repercussions for downtown business owners, and we continue to feel their impact today. He's talking about Smart Roads Project. That's all the construction. Mm-hmm. Additionally, the economic losses from COVID-19 have further strained our community. Many businesses in downtown Youngstown have struggled to recover, facing declining foot traffic, reduced revenues, which are still grappling with the long-term effects of the pandemic, which have exacerbated the challenges we face. I would like to understand why your administration has not done more to assist business owners beyond offering a small grant. Why has there been no effort to hire a proper marketing firm to promote downtown and its businesses? A long and sustained marketing campaign is imperative for the growth and revival of downtown Youngstown. Such initiatives could significantly enhance visibility, attract new customers, and foster a vibrant community atmosphere. The city appears to have ample funds available for initiatives that could engage and uplift the community, such as Youngstown is Alive and Well promotional campaign. We, as business owners, have endured significant challenges with minimal support from your administration. The historic downtown business community, its citizens, though few, and the Youngstown State University require more attention and resources. While I acknowledge the importance of parks, I believe that the immediate needs of downtown, such as attracting businesses, providing tax incentives, establishing a grocery store, or a mini mart, and addressing parking issues should take precedent. We need to create an inviting atmosphere for consumers to shop, dine, and attend events. As a business owner, I have invested huge amounts of capital 8 years ago. And once again, the Realty Tower disaster, despite being advised by my most valued advisors to run away from downtown. Right?
Whoa.
Let's see here. The success, I lost my spot. The success of Casa di Canzanetta should prove that hard work, unwavering commitment, and love for the community can make a business thrive in downtown Youngstown. It feels as though downtown Youngstown and its business owners have been overlooked. Mr. Mayor, you are quoted in saying, I hire people that look like me. While it is your administration's prerogative to hire... Yeah, he said me. Yeah, me, but that's what I'm quoting in here. I said us, but while it's your administration prerogative to hire your personal cronies and sycophants, I believe that in pursuing the rebirth of our city, hiring the broad base of qualified citizens, strong business-oriented minded leaders will give Youngstown greater chance of becoming the place to be. We are in dire need of leadership, a vision to revitalize our empty streets. Being a mayor of the city in crisis and significant responsibilities that requires a visionary leader. I hope this message resonates with you and ignites your passion for historic downtown Youngstown as it does for me. Please either step up and engage with our community or consider passing the torch from someone who effectively leads us forward.
I will
How
say
about that?
I agree. I agree completely with everything he's saying. I will say I went to YSU. I've said this before. I went to YSU from 2012 to 2016. I went out in when it was booming downtown. We would go out every weekend, live downtown. I went out downtown all the way until 2019, right before COVID. And I was downtown, and it was amazing. It was bustling back then. There was all kinds of stuff. It was packed. It was crazy. Packed. So much fun. I had so much fun. And to see the decline to just Saturday, I went downtown and went to Avalon. And at 6 p.m., there was nobody downtown. There was nobody walking around. It looked like restaurants were empty. It wasn't bustling. Like 6 p.m. on a Saturday night, there's nothing to do.
Why?
That's depressing.
So what do you think? And I'd love to talk to a business owner. What do you think has changed? Right? Like, is it the parking? Is it people have heard so much negative stuff about downtown now? Mm-hmm. Like with the parking, they're just not thinking about it anymore. Like, what is it?
I think it's just the punches of construction and everybody talking crap.
A building blowing up,
everybody talking crap. COVID and just staying away from the city. And then on top of that, while all of that is happening, you have massive improvements to Boardman and the mall and that whole complex with double bogeys.
Is there a lot of people that double bogeys?
That's where kids go out now.
Really?
Like my brother-in-law, who's 26, since he went downtown with us when he first turned 21, but now it's like that's where everybody goes. Yeah. So the kids you're not staying competitive.
Right.
So Boardman is destroying you.
Good.
All right, caller, you're on.
Hi, you guys called me. It's Mark Canzonetta. How you doing, Luke?
Mark, what's up, man?
Nothing, man. Just trying to get Mother Nature to reverse her cold ways.
So this is Mark Canzonetta. We were just talking about you. Dude, good post, man. Good post.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. I woke up Sunday morning and, I've been working a lot. I'm a little stressed out, a little crazy, and, always concerned about the city I love. And then the first thing I see is the mayor's office announcing that he's going to have a State of the Union address, and him not addressing anything about the concerns of downtown kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I made a post with my concerns.
Yeah, and then he got interviewed on the news, and he basically said, I didn't follow up with this, but he was basically talking to Mark, like, you can't make everyone happy. That's basically what he said. And he also said, I need to worry about the people outside of downtown too. Was literally the mayor's.
That's all he worries about, though.
That's where his votes come from, right?
Yeah, it's a mayoral election year. It's an election cycle. I understand it. I get it. I'm very aware of politics, and he's got to go after his votes in the wards because that's where his votes come from.
Right.
I think the last election. There's not a lot of votes that are cast in Youngstown. It's a sad state when. Right. I think he won by a lot, but I don't think he garnered 7,000 votes. I think it was around 6,800 votes in the last election.
Right.
And for a city that has so much on the line, I just don't see enough voter participation, voter awareness, other candidate awareness. And that's what I really wanted to raise was there's at least two viable candidates and another third candidate that are running and I think they should at least be taken a look at fairly.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
For sure.
I mean, I don't live in Youngstown, but everything I know about Tito, he needs to go. I mean, that's my opinion. It has been a straight downhill for downtown Youngstown since he took over. I mean, it is documented.
And he says he has to focus on people outside of downtown. At the same time, my response to that would be like what you mentioned in your post. You can still delegate and have somebody focus more on marketing and helping out downtown businesses to bring people in and get attention. Being a marketing guy myself, I went to YSU, graduated with marketing. Me and Luke, that's all we do is marketing ourselves and marketing our podcast and having these community groups and everything. It's like there is not enough attention to all of the surrounding area telling them, hey, come downtown. This is what we're doing, and this is what we have to offer.
What I mean,
and
Mark,
it's such a beautiful downtown, and it really is.
It is.
You know, what I would say about, in economically speaking as well, the potential for tax base and the tax dollars that will come into the city if he got people to actually come down, gave some tax incentives for new businesses to come down here. How much tax revenue would be raised for the city of Youngstown versus going over and pandering to all the wards for votes?
Right.
Where that tax, how much tax base is going to be generated from them? And I'm not throwing stones, and I know everybody comes from all kinds of diverse economic backgrounds, but downtown has the potential to raise a lot of money for the city of Youngstown.
100%.
Let us do that.
Yeah.
We need the tools to do that with.
right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Mark. So, what do you think? And I know it's going to be a mix of everything, but like Isaac and I were saying, 4, 5, 6 years ago. I mean, even during your wedding. When was your wedding?
2021.
2021. Even after, it was packed downtown on a Saturday night.
It was, yeah.
What do you?
And we're having some of those nights again, and trust me, it's appreciated. And I'm not saying that the city has not made some right moves, because they have, but I think the glaring lack of leadership, vision, and execution in crisis management deems that we need a change.
Right. Well, there you go.
But even in 21, remember we stayed in the hotel.
We stayed in the hotel.
We stayed in the hotel.
With Mark on your,
and then we had breakfast at Mark's place in the morning. But
Packed.
the night before, the day of the night before my wedding, remember there was a stabbing or shooting downtown.
Yeah.
And then we right on the new pedestrian only walkway at the time.
Yeah.
And there was blood in the streets.
Yeah.
Like I remember waking up and getting coffee the day of my wedding. Like there's freaking this is not how it was.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously changes occurring even then.
Yep.
And it's just
it's
the hell?
crazy.
It's so sad.
Well, Mark.
Yeah, and again, those certain isolated instances, that's going to happen in any city in America, any city throughout the world. And I do have to raise my hat to the YPD, because I think they do a phenomenal job on the spot responses within minutes, seconds. They're there. They quell the situation. They get everything taken care of. They do a phenomenal job. So their leadership has been fantastic.
Awesome.
And they're pressed because, I don't think a lot of them agree with the leadership that we have in the city.
Yeah. I hope, I do hope it's time. I mean, it's time for a change. He's been in there long enough. It's time to get this guy out. It's time to try somewhere out. You're going to have a bunch of different people running. I think there's 3 or, like you said, there's Derek McDowell.
Well, yeah, Derek McDowell that I know very well. Samantha Turner that I'm getting to know. I think there's this outside guy. I met him one time. He gave me a T-shirt about getting Tito out of office. I think his name's John. I know his
John
name's
White.
John
Yeah,
White.
that's John White. Yeah, it's actually Amber's husband.
Correct. Correct. So I think Derek and Samantha. I think Samantha is 3rd Ward Councilwoman.
Yep.
I believe
Derek is owner of Youngstown
I think there should just be a discussion, if not even a debate, about the issues concerning downtown. And in my opinion, we need a business person, a business-minded person in this city that knows how to push things through, knows how to get projects started. And, and I'm a Trumbull County kid, and the things that are going on in Trumbull County with Lordstown and the new paper plant that's coming, and them attracting industry to Trumbull County, why aren't we garnering the same kind of respect here in Youngstown or the Mahoning County? Why aren't we getting those kind of plants that want to come here?
What are you talking
And
about?
I know there's some infrastructure issues,
Mark, they called in that chill plant, remember?
Yeah, they call it the chill plant. So why can't we get an Amazon hub to go inside of there?
Right.
It's vacant space right now.
Right. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I agree. I'm curious. We're going to follow it. So as we get closer and closer and closer, to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's just glaring issues that we still have. I mean, parking is still a glaring issue.
Right.
You know, with sadly the Realty Tower disaster, we have some space there that could be possibly turned in to parking. There's several options for parking. I don't know if there's being, endless studies being done, which is the most viable option or whatever it is. Tax abatements to get business down here. We need a mini mart or a grocery store in Youngstown for both the YSU students and what's left of the people that live down here. We need those kind of services before we can attract people to come down here and live and do business again.
Yeah, you definitely a grocery store. And like you said, use some of the tax money they have, right? Use some of the tax, like some of the.
I mean, I know that from what I'm told, they're pouring $11.8 million into the parks, and that's a big push. From Mayor Brown. And I know that parks are based around community building and in raising our youth, and it's great. Okay, let's talk about the parks. Who's going to pay for the maintenance of those parks once that money has been done?
Right.
And are they going to fall into disrepair once again? And then 10, 15 years ago, we'll get another government grant for the parks, and the same repetitive madness will go all over again.
Yeah. And
these kids today, are they really using parks? I mean, the kids that I see, they care less about parks. They care less about being outside. Most of them, they're glued to their phones.
The problem with parks is they're great to have. They look good on the city. They look good for your people living outside by the parks. But the problem is they don't produce income. You know what I mean? They're not income revenue at all. So it's like you need to invest to make money is the problem.
And you need to maintain them, like you said, and take care of them and efficiently keep them up to date.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I mean, they're huge. I mean, just landscaping alone is a huge upkeep. And then, we're in Northeast. You have to expect upkeep of all the new play toys and equipment because, I mean, they're going to get exposed to snow and rain and sleet and hot temperatures and humidity. So, I mean, all those things, just a lot. I mean, I haven't heard the mayor's address. I believe it's tomorrow night. So, I mean, obviously we want to give him a fair opportunity to see what he has to say. But he hasn't said a lot in 8 years, so I don't expect much on Wednesday night.
He's gonna pander like he always does. That's all he's gonna do. Pander the crowd, try and get votes.
He's never escaped the photo op. I can give him that. He loves a good photo op.
Right, exactly. All right, Mark.
He really does.
Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks for calling, man. What's going on at the restaurant? Anything?
Well, you know what? We're coming out of Lent. Lent was a great season for fish. Everybody in the valley, whether they're Catholic or Christian or whatever their religious faith is, they go crazy over fish.
Yep.
So a lot of fish down here at Tuscany, Canzanetta. We have been blessed, with the rebranding of the restaurant after, the sad tragedy of the Realty Tower. Things have gone a different way for us. We've been blessed with a very, very good, solid business, in my opinion. And we hope to continue that on. We don't want to, rest on our laurels that we've already established as a high expectation when you eat here. We always want to surprise our guests with new and creative food, but, sticking to the basis of what my heritage is, Italian. And I think we're just making a lot of people, when they come here, they feel comfortable. And you just never know who is going to eat here. You never know if there's going to be a celebrity here or whatever because of the hotel and all the entertainment things that happen in the city. So you never know who you might run into here.
Right. That's
awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, Mark, we'll talk to you again soon, man. And we'll probably have you guys back
for having me on.
What? Yeah,
and,
you're welcome.
Appreciate you guys, and keep I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep yelling at the top of my lungs because I'm not a politician, but I know what's right, I know what's wrong, and I know what's fair to the business owners of the city of Youngstown that invested their hard-earned money, their hearts, their souls. Some people like Ann over at Avalon, their entire families, career, and lives have been in Youngstown.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of respect that goes to those kind of folks. So, and Vernon and Eddie over at B2 have been here for a long time. I've been here for 8 years now. So there's a lot of us, and I'm not even, down the street. There's so many people, Yosteria
Yep.
And the guys, what's the famous one down at the bottom of the hill? And they're going to kill me. Frank.
It's
the MVR.
MVR. Yes.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pride down here in Youngstown, and we want to take care of our guests. We want them to come out of Youngstown saying everything I've heard about Youngstown is 100% wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome, Mark. Well, we're going to keep helping you. We're going to keep pushing the
guys.
news. And hey, tell Lauren we said hi when you talk to her, please. My friend Lauren.
I will, brother.
We'll see you, man.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we got
Oh,
comments.
I also wanted to say, I was down here on Saturday.
Yeah.
The biggest punch in the freaking gut. I come down. I'm like, you know what I'll do? I'll go drive by where the building blew up. Empty parking lot, right? Freaking like blocked off and says private parking only. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Wait, so
you come down the main stretch, right? I came down
where Realty One is.
where
Realty
used
One
to be.
was.
Yeah. You're not allowed to park there. It's a big open parking lot, and they have it blocked off and say, "Hey, private parking only." It's like,
Who's allowed to park there?
for fuck's sake. It's like there's like you have to park behind Avalon. They force you to park behind Avalon and walk up. But it's like, why, if it's empty, in a building exploded? I guess it's private property. Do whatever you want. But it's like, dude, just let people park there.
Well,
Like, just let
where is there to
people
park
park
around
there.
town? I mean, that's
You have
always
to park behind Avalon.
it
which
costs. Does it cost money?
No, it's free on
Free
weekends.
parking on
I
weekends.
Get that.
Is it
I
packed
understand
or
that,
is
but
it always packed? It's always packed.
It's not. I mean, it wasn't packed.
Okay.
It wasn't packed because there was
There's
nobody
here.
freaking downtown.
Right.
So at 6 p.m. on a Saturday. So we've had no problem parking, and you park and you walk around. But it's like I wanted to walk through the main street and see, just because I haven't in a while. And it's like, dude, it's a big open lot, and you can't park.
We do have another business owner here. Joe's here. Joe, what do you think?
What do you think about parking downtown?
You know what? We spent years, myself, Derek McDowell, Phil, what was his name? That big advocate for his city, Phil something. Anyway, we spent all of our platforms trying to push people downtown, gives people, convince the suburbs to come downtown.
You spend their money.
We never got any support from any government official. In fact, they make it hard on us to lend into those things just because they embarrass us. Well, once people get down here, they almost take it for granted and they don't accommodate. They don't try to make it easy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I've given up. Like
You just give up.
I gave up even trying. I've made so many phone calls to the city just asking for help. I want to help run some marketing for them free of charge, like in kind. Just run.
What happens when you said never?
Nothing. No crickets. Like they do not. They pick their favorite people that they work with, and that's it.
Right. Wow.
We have this mentality in Youngstown, man. It's like we split up into our groups, and it's like, no, we have our team set up, and it's this like family, like old Italian mentality.
Right.
No, these are our people. We work with these people, and everybody else can pound salt. And it's like, when it comes to supporting a downtown area that you want to be bustling and you want to succeed, I hate to break it to you, you're going to need everybody from the outside area. So I know, like, those people then the suburbs.
Joe has this spot right here in downtown. He's a downtown person. He has
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, how many? Okay, so let's just say we get like the new mayor, and they put me coordinator as a sort of like heading the business development for the city.
Right.
How many times do you think I would visit every single business and say, what do you need? What can we do for you? How can we make your business better? 0 times I've been freaking visited by any from the
But the first thing they do, Joe, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to say, Joe, where do you live? Where do you live, Joe?
Poland.
You live in Poland. You son of a bitch. Live in Poland. You have your business down here, taking advantage of the people. You don't care about downtown. You just want to take care of downtown and live and run your business.
Say that.
And run your business.
Literally
downtown.
heard that.
But at the end of the day, it's like if you want a bustling downtown, not everybody's going to live in downtown. Like I understand and I respect that. You should live down here. I get that. But if you want to be attractive,
that doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't do anything but close doors and stop money from coming in.
Number one priority is get people in the seats on businesses so they can survive down.
Right. And when
no matter who's doing it.
And when Youngstown was bustling and when we had crazy awesome nightlife and it was safe and everybody loved coming down here in that stretch of 2012 through 2018. It was people from all over. It was kids from Girard, kids from all over the greater Youngstown area came to one spot and spent our money and hung out. It was great. It was awesome.
remember
It's
when
gone.
was it Julius or who was it that said something around the lines of they were getting pissed. The people working downtown were getting pissed because using the name Youngstown when you aren't from
Right.
Youngstown.
It was the Boardman thing. Remember that we are Youngstown on the Boardman
Right.
wall. Yeah.
Right. But it's like, okay, that's a little. I mean that one.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But
I get it.
But
I
we are
understand
all
it.
Youngstown though.
Right.
Like that's the problem that I don't think they understand. Like I live in Poland. I'm from North Lima, which is freaking 10 miles down the road, right?
Right.
But we all grew up in Youngstown.
Right.
I worked at the Y. I come down here every freaking weekend
Right.
for the Phantoms games because I
Yeah.
built but I don't think they want to hear that. They want at least the
You
current
get in your
administration.
niche. You get in like your group of people. And
They want,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. They're not going to do it. It's not going to work.
Yeah. It's like think of other cities like Columbus. Like people live on the suburbs of Columbus,
But they're
and
from
then
Columbus.
They say they're from Columbus, and then they go spend their money in the city. Like they have come to that agreement. Yeah, they're not from the streets of Columbus. There's people,
Right, I
but
just
they,
don't- I
yeah,
don't
it doesn't
understand
make
that.
sense. It doesn't make sense. And the other thing is, you need to do stuff to stand out from the other areas. What does downtown Youngstown have? Downtown Youngstown has height. You
Yeah.
have the buildings. That's one of the
Yeah.
coolest aspects. Put a freaking rooftop bar in. You
Yeah.
have to put a rooftop bar in because then
You're
you'd be able to look. I know I'm
That's dream.
dreaming, and I know this is
it's
like
a good dream. It's a
freaking
good,
radical idea.
it's a good
but-
idea.
What does Boardman not have? The mall does not have
Yeah.
the skyline. Put a rooftop bar in Youngstown,
That'd be awesome.
and then you can look out over how everything like that'd be so sick. But they don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah.
Rooftop bar would be sweet. Rooftop pool. I don't know. On one of those old buildings, I don't even know if that's possible, but that would be sick. Like, and
Yeah.
you have like the Y, like a membership downtown to go to the rooftop pool. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
That'd be so
I agree.
sweet. A rooftop gym.
Yeah.
It has the skyline. You take advantage of the sky, or at least a restaurant on the top floor of one of these buildings.
Hold on. All right. Joe's
What
going
do we got?
Wow. I've been listening for 10 minutes and all you've done is run Youngstown down. It's easy to sit back and complain. Excuse me, Joe. Real fast, Joseph. We're not running the city down. We're talking about the issues. There's a difference. Okay. And this is another problem. People like you are always like, boo hoo, do something. Boo, boo, boo. Don't just sit there and complain. Let me tell you what. On every issue that we talk about, we are doing something. You know why? Because we're talking about it and bringing it up.
And
That is helping solve problems. And I'm tired of people like you and people about the South Range stuff and the West Branch stuff that we talk about saying, why do you guys just talk about it? Why don't you guys do something? We are doing something. That is a fact. And I'm tired of freaking people telling me that we're not doing something. You hit a nerve, Joe. Yeah, it sounds like complaining.
Joe,
Learn what complaining is and learn what freaking talking about issues are, Joe.
you come
What's
in,
your suggestions? You going to sit on here and try and troll us? What do you got?
Joe.
What-
So here's the thing, Joe.
Freaking
You're
guys like that.
You're
They're
going.
crazy.
You're going to complain about us. critiquing
People like you,
Youngstown.
Joe.
Joe, where are you at right now? You sitting at home? You sitting at home on your couch? We're in downtown Youngstown right now. Like we're actively trying to help Youngstown. We're in downtown Youngstown. I said I went out in downtown Youngstown on Saturday.
What have you done, Joe?
Yeah, what? You just
What have you done? I was down here
saying we're
3
just
days this week, Joe. What would you do this week,
Joe,
Help
we
Youngstown?
we're trying to come up with ideas here. Like I said, I'm trying to come up with ideas to make Youngstown better. We're in a downtown Youngstown business right now.
What are you doing, Joe?
So
what did you do? I was here 3 weekends, Joe.
So,
You're
yeah,
laughing out loud, dude.
and Joe, you can say that we're complaining, we're critiquing. I'm trying to. I want Youngstown to get better. Even though I don't live in Youngstown, I want to come down here and I want to spend my money because I grew up in the greater Youngstown area and I want it to be great. And I don't want people on the internet from the other side of the country to say, oh, Youngstown's just a piece of shit and nothing ever happens there and don't go there because you'll die, which is currently the stereotype about Youngstown. Hate to admit it, but
Yeah.
that's what
It
everybody
is.
says.
It is. We just had a business owner.
I don't want it to be at a national level, a stereotype where property values are shit and you'll die if you go out in the streets. If that's bitching and complaining,
So be it.
so be it. Say whatever you want, man. And thank you for watching the show. We really appreciate you for supporting us.
I'm not playing with Joe anymore. Good luck, Joe.
Is there anything you like about the town? I love Avalon Pizza. I freaking love Avalon
I
Pizza.
talked about
I
field
love.
tips.
We interviewed Mark Canzanetta. I love the new bistro now, Canzanetta's.
I have season tickets to the Phantoms. I am hosting a Youngstown Phantoms player in my house to help support Youngstown.
And like we said, we're sitting in Youngstown Studio right freaking now, filming a podcast. So yeah, we like Youngstown. We're saying good things about Youngstown. Hey, I think since 2018, since Tito was elected, it's gone downhill. Yeah, I'm complaining about that. It freaking sucks because I used to go downtown. I used to live downtown when I went to YSU.
I said quiet, like
dude, Joe
and
doesn't
now,
do this right
and now it's gone downhill. Statistically, you can prove that because Boardman's doing better than Youngstown at attracting people. That's the truth. That's what's happening. Sorry, man.
Don't let Joe's sitting on his couch right now. So like he said, calm down. He gave you the calm down. I think.
Calm down, Joe. I want to say something extremely rude that would get me kicked off
if we were on the radio.
if I was on the radio. But you know what, Joe? I'm just going to say, once again, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I'm yelling. Joe, you could be a like what people don't understand. I assume that's a picture of you and your wife or whoever it is. You could be just a random made up person. Like I don't even know who you are.
It could be Tito.
You refuse.
It could be Tito.
It could be Tito. It could be Tito's fake profile.
It could be Tito.
It could be Tito's fake profile. Because you know what? As you're sitting there talking about everything we're doing, you're just a freaking troll.
They just called you rude.
Because that's what you are, rude. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
The troll goes
Because
from
he can't fight.
hey,
Yep.
you guys suck to I'm the victim.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are
yeah.
with me.
Thanks, Isaac. What's up?
Sorry, we're yelling at people, Isaac.
So there
Isaac,
it is. Just
you're rude.
Can we bring up that comment?
You're
please?
rude.
We go
The trolls.
from proving the trolls wrong
Yep,
that we
I
care
love
about Youngstown after
Oh.
he says all we do is bitch and complain.
Oh.
And then you have Joe saying because that's what you
It's-
are.
this is
it's
what they-
rude. Then you play victim
Now, here's
because
what he'll
he
do next.
proved you wrong.
Here's what he's going to
and
do
you
next.
guys are nothing
Yeah.
but a bunch of bullies.
Yeah.
Nobody said suck, just rude.
Listen. So
You-
what he's going to do next now, this
Now
is what
we're
these
rude.
guys like do. So we're
Yeah.
rude.
Yeah.
And now he's going to go tell everybody we're bullies too.
Yeah, because we bullied you. You came, you watched our podcast, and we're the bullies because you said all we do is bitch and complain. We then listed specific examples of what we do for Youngstown, where we spend our money in Youngstown, why we love Youngstown, and now we're rude.
and now you're going to be a bully next.
And now I'm a bully.
And then the next thing you know, he's
Yeah.
crying to everybody saying we're bullies.
We're pieces of human garbage. And we don't do anything for Youngstown.
All we do.
Even though I listed specific examples.
This is what happens.
Thank you once again for being here, Joe. Moving
All right,
on.
moving on.
Jill said,
I do have a Nazi salute screen grab from you, so you might be a Nazi.
"Oh, did I
too.
do it?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. We're also
I'm a
we're
Nazi
also
now.
woke right wing Nazis.
Damn, I'm a Nazi now."
Let's go. Moving on.
Can we go back up to Jill's comment? Jill, right there. Jill
Gilmore.
says, "Stood in line at Dior last night, and a couple
That
that
one
had
we're
driven in from
Here.
Cleveland was in line behind us. We were at the corner of Hazel and Federal. They said, 'I'll bet this was really busy back in the day.' Thankfully, it was sunny. We were telling them about all the great places to eat downtown."
Awesome.
Jill, my parents have always supported Youngstown too. They would dress up little Isaac and make me come and my sister come to the symphony all the time downtown at Powers Auditorium at the time. So I mean, we have always been, even though we lived in the suburbs, we have always been like trying to do stuff downtown and wanting to come down here.
Right.
So it's like, are you really going to a family that wants to come down here? Are you really going to try and say, no, we just want people who live in Youngstown to come here because that's kind of our thing?
No, they say they want people to come downtown. They just don't want people who don't live in downtown
Influencing any decisions?
Bingo.
It's just dumb.
But
It
again,
doesn't-
look at like all the different groups of people that like the companies that have fixed up downtown are all from outside of downtown. Like
Right.
what's their names over there? The one where the building blew up. What were those guys like? But they did it.
yeah, the Marquee Ondas.
Yeah, the Marquee Ondas, the other. They all did it.
They freaking fly too close to the sun and they start doing illegal shit.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Like
Youngstown. Also,
Icarus.
yes, exactly.
Brian, I can't understand why all the planters and dividers and garbage that were added on Federal, they took away tons of street parking to add sidewalks that are 3 times as wide as necessary and these ridiculous planters in the middle of the street. Why? Brian, so
that's part of that streetscape thing.
Yeah, they and I drove by it and I saw that. They don't have the like side diagonal parking anymore. It's just like a lot of handicap parking and do not park here signs. And they want you to park behind the buildings and then walk to the downtown area.
We have a caller.
Denise said you provide good citizen journalism.
All right, caller, you're on the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, man, so I live in Trumbull County, and I come down every weekend for these Phantoms games.
Yeah.
And it's run by the Jack, right? The beer, all that, right?
Yep.
Man, I'm probably paying Tito's kids college tuition with how much beer I'm drinking given to the city. I'm down at the downtown draft having at least 2 beers every weekend. You know, like all the parking at these Phantoms games. How many people from the city of Youngstown are at those games, man? It's everybody from the outside coming in, paying their money for beer, paying their money for concessions.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm just throwing that out there.
No, dude, the Phantoms games, I mean, like I said, I'm building one of them right now. I go to every game, even I think I had season tickets the year before and 2 years ago, and then last year, and then we billeted this year, and they're fun. I mean, you go to a lot of those?
Oh, yeah, dude, I got season tickets, man.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm there all the time with my boys. I got my boys hooked on it, so now we go, and they don't even play hockey. We go to freaking every game. And that is a big draw. You know, it you know this, it ebbs and flows. Like some games you have a ton of people, some games you won't. You know, it depends on the event, it depends on the day, and that kind of stuff. But I mean, what does the city do to push the Phantoms games? I've never seen any posts.
Exactly.
I've never seen anything from the city doing anything like that.
They had those posts. They had those like flyers on the bridge coming down off 7.
Okay.
Off 7 where you can overlook. You know what I'm saying? They had that last year.
Right.
And then they got that big banner on the side of the Cavelli. And the city owns the Cavelli. I heard that the Phantoms are trying to buy the Cavelli from the city, and the city won't sell it to them.
Yeah, they're making money on that Cavelli Center, though. I know they've been turning profit. Originally, they didn't make any money, but now they're starting to make money on that thing. So I doubt they'll ever sell that thing. But yeah, dude.
Plus the amphitheater.
Yeah, the amphitheater. That's really nice,
and then bringing in.
Yeah. Have you walked down there?
Yeah,
that's super nice. The amphitheater, and then like the underneath the Market Street Bridge, super nice down there
For sure.
So, all right, man. Well, thanks for calling. Go Phantoms, dude. We got 2 big games this weekend, man. 2 big games.
That's what I'm saying. The playoffs coming up, dude.
Yeah, they win. If the Phantoms win both games this weekend, they will be number 1 in the Eastern Conference and have a bye, and then home advantage all the way through the playoffs. So,
and Luke, you living in Poland, you let one of those Youngstown Phantoms live in your house in Poland. you out of the kindness of your heart let
I do.
a Youngstown Phantom.
I do.
Wow, dude.
I'm a terrible person.
You're a terrible person.
I'm a terrible person.
That kid should be living downtown in Youngstown. Why isn't he living in a Youngstown ward?
You got a bedroom in here? Maybe we put Jambo. We could put Jambo in here.
Couch.
He should be. If he's on the Youngstown Phantoms, he should be down. He should be not downtown, but like in Youngstown.
I don't know how. I'm pretty sure most of the billets don't live in Youngstown.
Well, actually, like that caller said, his beer money is going to Tito's kids' college fund. That's crazy. Yeah, he actually. The college fund comes from Youngstown Phantoms beer sales. His car comes from the water department, or his cars, come from the water fund.
That stuff is so expensive. I go in, that food and those beer is so expensive. Have you ever gone to a Phantoms game?
Yeah,
dude, it's like $9 a beer, $8 a beer. I don't drink. I mean, all I know is Cameron gets a gyro every day. It's $9. That's crazy. It's $9 for a gyro.
Everything's expensive now, though. I mean, that's the same as like a Chipotle burrito, which used to be $5, is now $12. Like it's the same friggin' thing.
Brutal.
Jill says we live in the suburbs too, but always go downtown first. Jill also says there is no reason the amphitheater shouldn't be used like River Rock at the Amp in the summer.
Yeah. Well, they do have concerts there.
Well, like, do you remember like when I lived down here and we would have like, there'd be like crazy ass events at Cavelli all the time.
Yeah.
Outside before they had the amphitheater.
Right.
So like they should have crazy events like that at the amphitheater all the time.
And open
like,
it up and
just
have the
so much
Cavelli
fun
open. Yeah.
stuff. And I know they're like, oh, it causes issues and we need to have more police and there's all these things that come up. It's like, I get that, but at the same time, like, it's fun stuff. There's gonna be rowdy shit happening. Like, it's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get people down here spending money, there's
whenever you have people, there's gonna be stuff
gonna come up.
Yep.
They wanted to do, and I think there was like a big storm that stopped it from happening. They were gonna do a water slide down the Market Street Bridge.
I thought that was a scam.
Do you guys remember that?
I thought that was a scam.
Was it a scam?
I think it was a scam.
Was it?
Yeah, they were gonna do. I'm pretty sure
Bro,
that was a scam.
that would've been so sick. That would've been so sweet.
Where's Phil Dirt and the dozers when you need them? Back in the 70s, downtown was awesome. I worked at Woolworths. There was actually stores to shop in. Also, it's hard to decide what restaurant to eat at. I worked for like the city for 25 years, retiring 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I watched Tito destroy our city. It's so sad what was and what it has become. Wow, that is a freaking that's a good comment from a city worker too.
I'm gonna look up something on my phone real quick.
Okay. What else? So yeah, I mean, Joe,
can you scroll up real quick on the comments?
We need to change. That's it. What else you got? I think we got everything. All right, we're gonna move on here. Any other topics on Youngstown? Are we done complaining about it? Isaac, are you done complaining about Youngstown?
All right, so
Yeah, for now.
instead, let's bookend this with let's just say we have the scepter. What would you do to make Youngstown better? Like, let's just say this administration's gone.
Okay.
What needs to be done to develop business in the city?
Love it. One, you have to hire a professional marketing person.
100%.
That would be number one. And they have to do it different. They can't do it like I no offense, Joe. I know you have a marketing company, but I hate typical marketing stuff.
Mhm.
It needs to be different. It needs to be eye-catching, and it needs to be able to get past everybody else trying to market. That's how I always look at marketing. It's like good comparison. Realtors, like we are realtors. The billboard, the
stupid video
of them walking
through a house,
with
the stupid South Park music.
Right. Like you don't eye catch enough for that kind of stuff. You need something different. Two, I would focus your grants, your money, your federal money, all the stuff you get on downtown, right? I know there is a need for the quote avenues coming into town and the roads coming to town to be fixed up, but you got to have a base of Youngstown first. That's how you're going to survive Youngstown.
Use the government money to generate revenue. So use the government money that's given to you to create more money that you make.
Correct.
And generate
And then
revenue
able
to make
to send
and billow out from there,
Correct.
from the downtown area,
Right.
to then help the people in need. That will then in turn you'll help them, and then in the surrounding areas, and then they'll spend their money
Correct.
downtown.
Downtown will create enough revenue if you have enough businesses and
Right.
you have people living down here
Yes.
in order to spread that money to the outskirts and start building out towards Boardman,
And at the same time,
yeah.
I do understand the argument that like you two don't even live here and you want to tell people what to do. I understand the argument to an extent because it's like we're impacting and trying to tell them
America, baby.
No, I
You know?
so disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't
So
agree.
listen,
Yeah.
like you do your marketing, so you bring people in that are consumers.
Yeah.
Right. Then the government's like, okay, well, I want to make sure that the experience of somebody that comes in here, they have expectation. We're loyalists, so we'll overlook things like hard to park, and
Yeah.
it wasn't everything we really wanted to do.
Right.
So the government needs to give people the things that they're looking for to do in a downtown area.
Right.
Use that money to attract businesses, no matter where they come from. I don't care if they come from Mars.
Yeah.
If somebody wants a place to eat and a bar to go to and some entertainment,
Right.
and it attract those people to the downtown.
But what I'm saying is we having our opinions of what they should do, and we're saying, hey, we as outside people are saying, well, other than you, me and Luke, as outside people are saying, hey, boost the downtown Youngstown area so that I can come in and spend my money. But then there are people who live in Youngstown on the outside that are in the same time are like, no, that money should be given to us because we're the voters and you should make our communities better is what so that's the argument. I understand that to an extent, but
what's wrong with outside opinion?
nothing.
Here's another thing.
nothing.
Here's another thing. I have money. You have money.
Right.
You want us to come downtown.
I want to.
You should be talking to me and everybody else from outside to make their opinion.
That's part of
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It should be. We want to attract everybody. Me and everybody, no matter where you're from, no matter who you are, no matter what area you live in, and it shouldn't be. Hey, we're shutting down this group and we're only promoting this group.
Right.
No matter where you live.
And like Joe said, and I have heard it from a multi amount of people. When somebody has an idea to do something in Youngstown, they get pushed back from the city.
Yep.
Right. They get pushed back from the city, or they get Tito and his buddies saying, well, what's in it for me?
Yep.
That is what I hear
100%
from
of it.
100%. What's in it for me? How can I benefit from
it? But then you have some businesses who get like the chill can pie. How did that come together? Someone was buddy, but then you have an energy plant that wants to get started and they shut that crap down. So like some people have a really easy time and some people have an impossible time to get something started.
That sounds like greased palms is what that sounds like.
I can promise you, if you and I tried to get an event downtown, we would struggle.
Yeah.
Because they will push.
What about like all the guys that own these buildings? Why is it always, and this is just me truly asking a question, why is it always like businesses that open up in these downtown buildings that don't attract people to like come down and spend their money? Like you can walk and me and oh my God, Derek McDowell have talked about this. You can walk from like the bus stop all the way to here and go and walk through downtown Youngstown. And there's only like 2 businesses right now that you can actually walk into and spend your money. Why is that?
Well, because there aren't enough consumers to support retail. That's why you see businesses have a lifespan of 2 years downtown.
Right.
There's just not enough walk-in traffic to do it. The ones that survive have had enough history that they have people that come here specifically for them.
So there's just not enough.
And Kenzenetta has the hotel.
Yeah.
Which helps him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's going to be a natural people sitting there going down
have to go down.
Yeah, they don't have to, but
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got
yeah. Most of these businesses are filled with accountants, attorneys, so that the business climate is good. There used to be a shoe shine guy out here. There was so much traffic when people walked around.
Kellen said, "Let's make a rooftop bar happen." Love that idea. What I said they should do too. You want a creative marketing idea? What you do is, and I've talked to Derek McDowell about this, you poll the greater Youngstown area, everybody, all the Tri-County area, hey, this is what we're doing in Youngstown. Or, hey, here are some businesses that have approached us in downtown Youngstown to do cool stuff. Rooftop bar, whatever these business ideas are. What do you want? And then everybody votes, and whoever gets the most votes on what a rooftop bar wins. That way, what you're doing is you polled the public and the public said they wanted it.
They're going to support it.
They're going to have to support it because you asked them their opinion. They responded, gave you what they want. Now they feel obligated. I voted for that. I'm a part of that. I'm going to go spend my money there. And then the government has the fallback of saying, this is what we gave you. We polled you and said you wanted this, and now it's closing. That's on you. That's not on us.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Put the ball in their court. You guys want to be involved? Cool. You can be involved. You vote on this, and then now it's still not getting support. That's your fault. Guarantee that won't happen. Guarantee that won't happen. People will support it.
Not with the current administration. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen.
But I guarantee that if they polled the public and the public voted and said, hey, we want a rooftop bar, and they put in a rooftop bar, everybody and their freaking grandma would be supporting that.
How much does Tito make?
I have no idea.
Tito Brown mayor salary. I'm just curious. Because
there's no retail downtown. Yeah, John said that.
Hold on, I'm going to look this up.
Wow. He makes Brian says typical classic Youngstown politics, greasing palms, lining pockets.
As of 2023, he's making 105.
I honestly, for the mayor of Youngstown, I don't think that's bad. I don't think 105K is absolutely ridiculous. God only knows if he's using the freaking water fund to pay for his car. That's another thing. But hey, 105K to the mayor of Youngstown, go ahead. Use it on beard bleach.
Yeah, I wonder how many. Yeah, he's probably making more money than that. I'm just guessing he gets envelopes. That's my guess. That's my opinion. He gets envelopes. I don't have any evidence of that, but he gets envelopes, unmarked envelopes.
They prove that the water fund was paying for a car.
Yes,
his wife's car or something.
It was something
and then everybody's just like, oh, it's there, and everybody's like, oh, that's just Youngstown.
Yeah, that's another excuse.
Like, what are we doing,
it's
bro?
Youngstown.
We're just it's just part of the deal here.
Yeah,
it's like, no, why don't we fix it? Like, why can't there be punishment for that?
All right. Well, that's our ideas. That's our take on Youngstown. Anybody else? I want to move on to this West Branch thing. This is a good one. So West Branch local schools fired their coach. We talked about this on Tuesday. I don't know. Last week.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Robert Santos, Austintown Township trustee, says being neighboring communities, you think he would return a call after 3.5
Never
years.
calls Robert back.
Never calls him back.
That's you're an outsider.
You're not,
Robert.
you're not
you're
from
not
Youngstown.
Yeah, dude.
Robert Santos, Austintown Township trustee. You don't belong or live in downtown Youngstown or any of the wards. We know you're next to the West Side, but you don't matter because you're not part of the Cool Kids Club and you don't live in Youngstown.
So all right, moving on. West Branch local schools. They fired or they did not renew the contract for their coach that was like ridiculously good. Remember all that?
Mm-hmm.
He was like 22-3 last year, coach of the year. So there was talk on Facebook, social media, and we said it too, that the school board member who has a daughter probably played a part in it. Like we were assuming that, right?
Yeah, we assumed that.
Let me pull this up. So the superintendent got on Facebook and made a video, and I'll play it. I don't have it on the thing, but I'll put it up to the speaker, and I want to hear what everybody has to say about this because here we go. All right.
So this was that they fired a coach that's statistically great, has a great record.
Since I've done this, I might be a
Put
bit
the bottom
rusty,
of your phone up
but
against it.
Here we go.
Yep, it's on the bottom.
It's here. It's at the top. This group at your ear.
So many of you know that I believe in confronting problems head on, not avoiding them. However, my attempts to resolve a recent situation internally have been undermined by social media's escalation of a situation. I want to express that I am fully well aware that me coming on social media may cause things to escalate further, even though that is the exact opposite of what I would like to see happen. So there are a few facts that I would like to clear up. Number one, the emergency board meeting was canceled last evening because I missed a prerequisite that is required to hold such meetings. Emergency meetings may only be called when there is an emergency that requires immediate official action. There was no emergency yesterday that required such action. I missed that. That decision's on me, and I take the blame. There is no other reason that meeting was canceled other than that. Number two, we as a district deeply value the safety, the mental health, and the well-being of all of our students. A sentiment that I know deep down that this community shares. I approach these issues and that responsibility of my job with the utmost concern. Yet there is a crucial situation that is happening that I must address. The conversations that are happening on social media that are focusing on a child are absolutely unacceptable, regardless of the desired outcome of such comments. Subjecting any child to that level of scrutiny can cause irreparable harm. Say what you want of me. I'm an adult. I get it. Not that I don't care, but I think you understand. But I beg you, please stop and think of what comments can do to a child. While I understand that there's a deep desire for me to discuss a decision regarding Mr. DeShields' position, this platform is not the appropriate setting for that conversation. I have always said since the day I sat in this seat and got on Facebook that you can comment or contact me, and I am more than happy to talk to you. Please do so. If you have comments and concerns, please call me. I've gotten plenty of emails. You can also do that. Thank you for concern in our district.
And that's it. She just says it. It's really
Have
weird.
a great day.
I feel like she was gonna say that, and she just doesn't.
Have a great day.
So, what do you think? We'll give your opinion on her.
My opinion?
Yeah.
Okay. My opinion on that. One, I agree. It's terrible to talk about a kid because you don't think about that. You know, the kid hearing all the stuff, students and stuff like that. I think it's terrible. I blame for that superintendent and the school board.
Yeah.
For not getting ahead of it, for not discussing it. She says social media is not the place to have this conversation. Yet she's on social media making a video.
Right.
To have the conversation.
Right. After the fact.
Right. Had this school been more upfront, used social media to get ahead of it, to explain it, to say, hey, this is happening. We hear you. There's a board meeting this day. Come in and we'll discuss it.
Right.
Or go on social media and say, this happened. We'll release more information if we can.
Right.
Now it is you have to understand it is a firing thing.
Right.
So they can only release so much information about it.
Right.
Which I understand. However, you don't make an announcement. You don't get in front of it. You don't be proactive. This is what happens.
Correct.
Schools, almost done.
Yeah, you're good.
Schools, and we've been screaming this for 5 years. Schools want to fight social media. They don't want to be active on social media. Social media at this point in our world is a public forum where people discuss things. And if you don't actively use it as a school, as a town, as a village, as a city to communicate with your constituents and your taxpayers, this is what happens. You have out of control comments. You have two jackasses like us talking about stuff where if you would have gotten ahead of it, it wouldn't have snowballed into this.
Right.
There you go. That's my take.
100%. Similar take. It's just same freaking topic. We're critiquing leadership. We are talking about today leadership making mistakes. And that's exactly what they did. And then they're not taking accountability for it. So that superintendent, she said social media escalates and spirals out of control and says, this is not the platform to talk about it. If you don't do a good job as a leader, get out in front of it and say, listen, we had to fire this coach. We're not allowed to talk about it yet.
Yep.
She goes and makes that same video and says, we understand the love for this coach within this community. And it was a very tough decision that we had to make. We are not allowed to talk about it at this time.
Right.
We'll talk about it in the future. As soon as we're allowed to, we will explain why we made this decision, why we were forced to make this tough decision. Please, in the meantime, if you could, let us do our thing. Let us handle this, and we'll let you know as soon as possible. We don't want rumors to fly.
Well,
and let me finish. So,
go. I got
so
something
she goes and says that, and then none of this would have happened. But instead, as leadership, now she's backpedaling and saying, "You guys are talking about kids. You're doing, you're affecting the life of a kid and a school board member and all this stuff. That's still your fault, lady."
Yeah.
That's still your fault. That wouldn't have happened if you would have made that announcement up front. And people swirling in the community and talking about this stuff, saying, hey, don't talk about it. That's unrealistic.
Yeah. Yep.
To try and say that people won't talk. That's unrealistic. That's what the internet does.
Yeah.
Bro, it's part of the internet. So as leadership, do a better job. And this would have never happened. And instead of demonizing social media, like all the other government officials and all the other school boards and all everybody does on the internet, when leadership gets challenged, use it to your advantage and control the mob.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the other problem was one of the school board members to the media somebody asked them why they got rid of him, and the school board member said, "quote We decided to go in another direction."
Yeah, so
that
you
just
say-
snowballed it even more.
That is such a saying, hey, we're going in a different direction about a statistically amazing coach in terms of record. That is such a slap in the face to your community.
Yeah.
In terms of an announcement, be better.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we respect how much the community loves this coach, and we're going in a different direction. Like, okay, but we can't fully disclose why we're choosing that direction.
Right.
But we will let you know as soon as we're allowed to let you know. But we can't right now.
Schools need to get better
Yeah.
at communicating online social media
Yeah.
and communicating
Yeah.
with the public. It is not 1985, 1990,
Yeah.
1995 where you just get away with stuff.
Yeah. And like perfect example of this. And people hate it and the right hates it. The chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, has his meeting and he says, I know you want us to lower interest rates and we want that relief to come. But he gets up, talks to people and says, this is why we're making this decision. We haven't seen A, B, C, D yet. This is why we're not doing it. And you can be on the right and you can say, this guy needs to lower the interest rates. I can't stand him, this and that.
Right.
But you can't say he's not keeping us informed. You can't say that he's not answering questions. You can't. And when he can't answer something and they're like, hey, you need to talk about COVID or you need to talk about this, he's like, that's not my ballpark. I'm not talking about it. And that just is what it is.
Yeah.
They have done a very good job of keeping the people informed and letting them know why they're making these decisions. I can disagree with decisions being made and say, hey, they should lower it quicker. But I can still say that Jerome Powell has done a very good job of keeping people in the loop. And that's good leadership.
Yeah. Schools need to hire somebody solely responsible for social media, marketing, getting ahead, keeping it, monitoring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
And go from there. And I know schools don't have any money. I know that, but it's worth it to avoid situations like this.
It's as simple as taking one of those people's personal phones and recording it
Right.
and buying a couple mics at the
here. Dennis says, we all need to get these meetings on stream, recorded and archived online for all residents to see here. With all the government money spent in tech due to COVID, there's no reason. If I'm going to push one thing this year, it's going to be that.
Right.
Every school, Poland stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Hawk about it. I want to talk to Hockenberry about it.
Think about it from a legal perspective, though. Every lawyer and their mother that works for a school or government entity or whatever, they don't want that because that allows the public to literally take a soundbite. When the Poland Village meetings were recorded, the Poland Village lawyer said something about like, that's not my job and I don't have to do that. And I literally, anytime somebody said, oh, the lawyer's not that bad, I would just play that over and over and over. Here's a soundbite of this doofus saying that that's not his job. Yeah. You would think that the leadership should go above and beyond and do more than just, that's not my job, but that's what he's doing. So it's like, they hate that.
Yeah, it was, and remember, it was literally like a taxpayer asking him to do something, and he's like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, seriously?
Right.
Larry, how about let's talk about it?
Because you're forcing them to be men and women of their word. And if they're not, you could next election, you can take that and be like, hey, he said he was going to do this. Here's the video of him saying he's going to do this. And then here's him not doing it. Like you can literally force them to do what they're going to say they're going to do or risk their reelection.
Yeah,
I
would love
beautiful thing.
Yeah, I wish we had the manpower because it's so easy. You can have this regular iPhone. You could hook up two microphones to it, and just record them. I mean, anybody can do it. I mean, I would pay someone to do it.
School board members follow Ohio revised code. It's very, very fine line and greatly limits conversations. That's stupid. Okay, I understand that there's the rules you have to follow, but at what point do you change? Like, what point do you have to change?
She is right. You're only allowed to discuss certain stuff. That's what I was kind of hinting at with like the hiring and firing of stuff. And there's only allowed to think.
But if it comes down to interpretation where it's like, oh, Ohio revised code, we can't record meetings.
No, you're allowed. Oh, you're allowed. She's not talking about that. I think she's talking about what you're allowed to discuss.
Yeah.
But you can record. It's an open meeting.
But if you're not allowed to talk about, like in this case, if they fired the coach for some other reason and they're not allowed to talk about it, you can still be like, hey, we're not allowed to talk about it. As soon as we're allowed to talk about it, we'll let you know. Instead, what they try to do is sweep it under the rug and just say, hey, we're going in a different direction. And because what if they were trying to protect the coach? What if they said, hey, we're going in a different direction. His reputation's at stake because of something else bad happened.
Yeah.
And we want to protect him because he's done such a good job for us for so long.
We wouldn't know that.
So
Yeah.
but we don't know that. But then they're just trying to say, oh, we went a different direction. They don't want to even talk about the bad that's coming.
Then if I'm that coach, he should step down and retire.
Right.
That's my problem with that.
But what, because there are rumors flying.
I agree.
There are rumors flying. So it's like, but still, as leadership, you have to have a conversation with that coach and say, you know, we're going to try and protect you, but we can only do so much. And it's to the people, here's everything we know. Here's everything we're allowed to tell you. And we'll let you know as soon as we are allowed to tell you more.
Review the ORC on sunshine laws with respect to special meetings and executive sessions, as well as the Open Meetings Act. Just my opinion. Board members get beat up as well as administrators, but the general public usually never gets involved until a personal issue happens. Yeah, I know. And that's one thing I've learned since we started doing this. There are certain laws. There are the executive sessions. I do think leaders take advantage of the executive session
100%. Yeah.
to do stuff.
Yeah.
Even though they're not allowed.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they do that. But yeah, I'm very familiar with that stuff. I don't know.
Bill, give me more details. 100% not the case for what?
For what?
For what happened to the coach?
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah. There are rumors. I mean, dude, you're going to have rumors all the time.
Right.
swirling with
Because
that kind of stuff.
if they're not talking about it, people that's why it's not realistic for the public to not discuss topics
right.
on a Facebook place that was a business that was set up to discuss and converse with public.
But again, it's
unrealistic.
like you said, it's controlling the mob, which they
Right.
didn't do.
No.
If you don't get out in front of it,
Right.
it is going to be bad. So we've had posts on everything Poland, everything Austintown, those groups we run,
Yeah.
where it starts getting out of control, right?
Yeah.
And it's rare that I do it, but I've done it, where I will go live
Yeah.
and then say, I'll call around, figure out what's going on,
Yeah.
talk to like, I think I talked to Santos, I talked to certain people.
And it immediately diffuses once you go live.
I go live,
Yeah.
and I'm like, look, I'm not a leader. I run, we help run the Facebook group.
Yeah.
These are the facts I know, right?
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
We can't, you got to wait. You got to be cool, be calm, and explain exactly what happens. Dude, when I've done that.
Yeah, it's diffused it immediately.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
And it diffuses the situation. That's all these guys need to do.
And then the other thing that doesn't help is when the leadership, like her in that scenario, you go and play victim, and then you try and demonize the mob.
That's bad.
And say, hey, you guys are wrong here.
It was such a teacher move, wasn't it? It was
you
such
guys
a teacher move.
You guys are wrong here, and you're hurting kids. And it's just like you're attacking from a side of empathy, which is very easy to defend. It's always easy to defend empathy, but at the same time, your own mistakes created that attack on that girl,
which
player.
did. Yeah, it was bad.
Which it's leadership.
Joe's just sitting here today, looking at him just festering because he has so much work to do. What do you think of this, Joe?
Yes.
I mean, you're a marketing guy, Joe.
Yeah.
Like should schools go? Like, what do you think? How do schools prevent that?
So they got to clean stuff up first before. I mean, you almost, if you orient a business that's kind of messy and you're about to go public, there's some things that you can, sort of like recently refer to that would have got you in a lot of public trouble. And so I think just the way that they operate, they have to almost prepare for that kind of transparency. And I don't think a lot of school districts do that, or even,
I don't even think they consider it. Like they don't even think about it.
They don't think it's a right for the public to see those conversations and what's happening. And they've gotten away with it for so long that they're just very comfortable doing it behind closed
which
doors.
is why going to the South Range thing, we took grief on that from a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, the South, so the South Range thing, we're moving on to the South Range thing. They had denied 13, 7, and 8th grade open enrollment IEP students, like special needs students for next year. They sent a letter to the parents saying your kid's not getting in because of cutbacks, right? Those kids have been there forever. You look at our conversations online, on our thing, We just discussed it. We didn't give an opinion. I think Isaac and I we feel bad for the kids, but the school board has to make this decision.
Gave my opinion because I'm allowed to give my opinion because I live in the school district.
But anybody's allowed to give an opinion.
Damn taxes in the school district so I can give whatever opinion I want about those kids.
But we never took a side in any of our posts.
I honestly said I understand getting rid of the kids for like a money thing. But it's a money thing.
We took grief from people we know just for talking about it. Just for bringing it up.
I feel like those people, those boards and whatever are just made up of regular people, and most people aren't like us. When the camera's on, they talk differently, they behave differently.
Like that
they don't like people looking over their shoulder.
Right.
And so I think that's why most of the pushback is like, don't look at me. You weren't looking at me yesterday. Why are you looking at me today?
Right. I mean, somebody that I really respect, right? Somebody that like literally got me into the banking industry was giving me grief. Like tons of grief because
it's like a big South Range name
because we're talking about it.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, we're talking about it to let everybody know what's going on because this is an issue that
they think it's the same as that Joseph guy, right? You're talking, you're not actually adding anything to the conversation. You're just complaining or you're just trying to stir the pot. It's like that's not at all the case. It's not at all the case. I am involved. I want to be involved. I live in South Range and I have an opinion that I'm allowed to give.
Graduated from South Range.
And you know what? Like I have the platform to do it. So like you think I'm just stirring the pot. You think that I'm not adding anything helpful to the conversation. Literally, we brought spotlight to the topic and allowed the public to say this isn't right and we need to figure something out. And that's exactly what happened.
Now, do you think that public pressure makes it harder to make decisions because of the scrutiny?
Yes, of course. But that's tough shit. $10,000.
But that's the way it should be, though.
Yeah.
How is it bad? How is public pressure bad? Because public pressure is when a topic like this comes to light and everybody has an opinion on it. Why is that a bad thing? Because these are the taxpayers. These are the people living. These are the kids' parents that are pushing for a decision.
I think what my brother's trying to say is that pressure creates diamonds. And the best leadership will rise to the top if you pressure them. So if you pressure them and they keep making bad decisions, they get voted out and somebody gets put in. Pressure them, make bad decisions, voted out, new guy gets put in. Pressure them. Right decision, guy stays in. So you create a spotlight, you create pressure, easy transparency. You're forcing the politicians and the elected officials to do the right thing or get removed.
Right.
So that promotes good leadership.
That's a higher caliber person.
Yeah,
get
that's
elected.
A beautiful thing if you ask me.
Hold on, let me pull this up while we're talking about South Range. I'm going to read something. Sorry, I'm reading a lot today, but this is all good stuff. This was last week. I don't think we talked about this. So this was from a message from Superintendent of South Range Local Schools. This was sent on April 3rd, 2025. Ready, Isaac? This is a big one. Dear South Range families, at South Range, every decision we make is grounded in one guiding principle. What is in the best interest of our students? As superintendent, I have always believed and continue to believe that our role as educators and leaders is to provide every child in our care with the opportunity to grow, thrive, reach their full potential. The commitment includes making difficult decisions about how we responsibly allocate resources, not only to meet the needs of students today, but also ensure that we can sustain high quality education for all students for the years to come. As I shared in an all call March 30th, recent open enrollment decisions required a significant amount of analysis related to the individual student needs and established capacity limits by grade level, school building, and educational program. This led to a decision to limit open enrollment in our special education in our 7th and 8th grade classes. Over the past 3 weeks, I have listened closely to the voices of the community, parents, guardians, staff, and students who have shared concerns about open enrollment students with individualized education programs, IEPs, and their futures in our district. I want you to know I hear you. Your advocacy has been thoughtful, passionate, and rooted in the same values we hold it to a district. In response to the message from our community, South Range Local Schools will hire an additional intervention specialist. This new position will allow us to support the needs of our learners, including our open enrolled students with IEPs. The district has made intentional budgeting efforts to make this possible. I am grateful for the collaboration and care that define this community. Thank you for continuing that. Thank you for continuing to engage with us as we strive to ensure that all students receive optimal education. Jared Zappelnick.
Well done. That was a well-written letter.
That was probably Chat GPT. That's
Yeah,
what I do. So the IEP kids got the pressure broke them.
Yep.
They hired somebody. They're changing their budgets around, and those kids are going to go to school.
That's right.
I mean, to me, that is a good thing for those kids. The school's going to have to react. Obviously, more of the public wanted those kids to go to school. There were people at that school board meeting that didn't have open enrollment kids there, that were long-term members of the area, taxpayers. We're talking huge names at South Range defending those kids that were outsiders. Quote, outsiders, even though they're not because they went there since they were kindergarten. Screaming at the board, screaming at the principal attendant. This isn't what South Range stands for. So the public spoke.
Yeah. So Josh says schools 1,000% needed a business-oriented division somehow, some way in the board offices.
Yep.
So here's what I was thinking while I was taking my pee. The founding fathers of this country, bigger picture here, the founding fathers of this country knew who or had the idea of who watches the watchman. There is no competition for leaders other than the people. They knew that you elect these people, we have to hold them accountable. And I'm pretty sure if the founding fathers were alive today and they saw, wow, Facebook, these town halls where people can go on their phones or whatever and apply pressure to leadership and get together and communicate and say, hey, this is our idea living in this area, and we're able to pressure leadership to do what we want. That holds them accountable.
Yeah.
That's their competition. That's the government's competition. It is our duty and our right to pressure them and make them do what we want them to do. That is the USA, baby.
Yeah, this is 5 years of this now.
Yeah.
Of us doing this. Is it 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years of this. You would think people know we're going to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. And here's the fun fact that I'm learning. If people want change of something like this IEP, they will come to us and ask for help. Like we had, when that went down, we had 30 people messaging us saying, you guys got to do something.
Right.
I don't think people understand that. However, people get pissed when they don't want change because they don't want us to talk about it.
No, exactly. They don't like the fact that we have power. Like that.
I don't even think it's power.
That we have the platform to speak and people listen.
Right. And
so they get mad about that. But my argument is our competition. So like same thing with the founding fathers. They believed that the press and journalists would come to save the day and inform the people. But then over time, it's become money is influencing those decisions.
Yeah.
And now you have freaking losers like us with nothing to lose that aren't making any freaking money that are becoming like something that people listen to about local topics of conversation.
Crazy.
If the news did a better job and wasn't influenced by a variety of different things, we would be out of a job. Nobody would listen to us. Nobody would listen.
The news tries. I mean, some of the news they try, but the other advantage is, and this is what Rogan says,
right?
We have unlimited amount of time,
right,
to talk about stuff.
Right.
Well, they have a half hour.
Right. Yeah, we can sit here for an hour and a half and talk about whatever.
Exactly.
Joe
and
being
that's
grumpy.
Even though Joe's grumpy.
Yeah.
It's important.
Right.
What's that?
Me being grumpy.
Yeah. but no, it's long form. It's a long form content.
Right.
You know.
And we can get every thought out. The news can't do that.
No.
That's the difference.
Because they have sponsors and they're a business and all this stuff. But it's like if we didn't make decent points and we didn't use our platform for the
Nobody
right
would
things,
listen to us.
Nobody would listen to us. So you can call us irrelevant, but we're at least a tiny bit.
Well, here's the thing. I know we're relevant because people get pissed when we talk about stuff.
Right.
That proves to me.
Yeah.
If we were irrelevant,
they wouldn't get upset.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys have like a leaderboard of things that you were able to change societally, or at least loosely connected to having an influence?
That goes on the freaking list of things that we've talked about that have changed. But
Well-
the thing is, like, I didn't have, like, it was nothing more than we didn't change that decision. Well, I mean, we did influence the change of that decision.
Did
But
we though?
we weren't like spearheading the argument that
Right.
those kids should stay. We were just talking about it on our podcast.
We didn't steer
Like
anything.
I said, as a person living in South Range, I said I understand the decision. If there's not money for it, I think our kids come first that live in the district because that's taxpayers' kids, and that's what comes first. That was my opinion.
Right.
But then the complete opposite thing happened where they got so much grief from everybody in the community who had a different opinion than me. Like, no, those are South Range kids. They deserve to be here. Enough of that grief was created that it influenced the decision. Even though it wasn't the one I agree with, I love it because that's what the people wanted.
Like, have we ever had a topic that we really really pushed to make happen and it happened? Where we would actually play a part in it. I would like to take credit for David Ditzler not getting reelected. I'd like a little credit.
The other thing is,
because I hammered that guy for 3 years.
The other thing is we can draw attention to something, and technically you can't take credit because people will always be like, "Oh, you guys didn't do anything." It's like, well, we had over 5,000, over 100,000 views on like the penny. Remember that the penny business in Poland?
But did we do it? Like what? I can't.
Right.
I gotta think about it. I gotta
Because
look through.
it's
I don't know. I don't know.
It's not leadership by any means. It's just discussing the topic and what you think, bringing attention to the topic is all it is.
I have behind the scenes pressured government in emails.
Right, if it's something that you disagree with, and you're like,
or
hey,
somebody comes to
we're
me,
going to talk about this if you don't do.
I mean, I won't say what school, I won't say what area. I'm not going to say anything, but there were people upset about a location of a school bus stop.
Yeah, Josh, call in. Josh Bader says, "I want to call in." So
yeah, there was the location of a school bus stop that could have posed danger to children for a certain reason.
Yeah.
And I sent the school, and the parents tried to talk to the schools, and they basically got blown off by the transportation department.
Right.
I sent an email to the school board and the superintendent. I don't know if I told you this, Joe. And I said, "Hi, this is Luke from the MLO Bros." I had copies of the emails from the people involved, and I said, "You need to move this bus stop. Your school said no. If you don't move this bus stop for the safety of these kids, we're going to talk about it on Tuesday." And we'll post it on all of our Facebook.
The other thing,
media. And guess what they did? 15 minutes, they moved the bus stop.
Yep.
So I've done that a couple times.
The other thing that happens too that people don't realize in the behind the scenes stuff is something popped off in Canfield like a week or two ago, and a parent called me and was like, "Hey, love the show, whatever. This happened, and this happened to my kid." And Canfield doesn't want to talk about it. Canfield doesn't want to do this. And I was like, okay. And they're like, should you talk about it? Like, I'm just trying to get an idea of what you think we should do. And I was like, well, communicate with the schools. And then if you want me to talk about it, I will. But I'm going to have to say this came from a parent.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say, not your name. I won't say your name, but I'll say it could come back to you.
Oh, 100%.
So are you prepared for that? And I was like, think about it. Call me tomorrow and tell me what you think. And then you shot me a text. Hey, don't talk about it. I don't want to do it. Because it's like, that is pressure that you are going to get. So is it a big enough thing that you're cool with the blowback?
That's the thing too. I don't like doing anonymous stuff. Like somebody says, I want to stay, unless it's like a source, like feeding us information.
Yeah.
I'll protect our anonymous.
And this was a good source parent of the kid it happened to. And it's like, if you don't want the blowback, it could come back to you. So you have to be prepared for that, because I'll talk about it if you want me to, because that is a big deal. And it was an issue, classic Canfield, keeping everything under wraps and not talking about it.
I'm trying to think of other stuff we've changed. I don't think we've really changed much.
No, we just talk about things.
I don't think we don't
put a spotlight on the topic and talk about things unless we really, really feel that it's wrong.
We spearhead stuff against
like today with Tito, right? We're talking about
that's spearheading him getting
right.
That would be spearheading him not getting elected.
But that's so you give your opinion, and if the people all decide and vote and say no, Tito's not that bad, and this
right,
but the problem is the reason Spotlight's being attracted to that is because the people outside of Youngstown want
Yes.
Youngstown. Obviously, there's enough people out there that want Youngstown to be great, but they can't vote on anything.
Right.
So they don't have an opinion of what the leadership should do. And that's why it's tricky. And that's why it's gaining so much.
Yeah.
attention.
It's us talking about stuff isn't us spearheading anything. Right?
Yeah.
It's not us spearheading anything.
No.
I mean, like I said, I will spearhead stuff. We will spearhead stuff if something bad happens or something shady happens. That's when we get involved.
Right.
Or something happens to kids or you know, that's when we get involved. That's when we get mean, is when we're defending.
Or you feel like the information we're given it feels wrong.
Yes.
And there's not enough information to know why the decision was made, like the coach. Like, good coach gets fired. They give no information.
Yeah.
That we are going to critique leadership.
Yes. We critique
and tell them, hey, this was not the right call.
Yeah.
And you should have done it better and do better next time. And by golly, I bet West Branch, I cannot wait for something else to come up in West Branch and West Branch go on social media and make an announcement up front so I can go, woo! Yeah. And then, like, just me. I might be the only one who recognizes that as, wow, we influenced that. But that we at least a tiny bit influence that decision.
I agree with
to
that.
go up front and,
I agree with that.
And do a better job of leading.
I think, you know, I guess Poland, because Poland, where we live,
Poland hired somebody
after me.
We grilled the superintendent and we grilled Poland
They hired somebody
for not communicating properly, and they literally hired a kid. Or a guy about my age. I don't know why I'm saying kid, but a guy about my age to handle all marketing.
Yeah.
And he did a wonderful job.
All schools should have
posting
like
on social media and keeping the people informed of what's going on. Does an absolutely wonderful job and refused to come on the podcast so many times.
A good guess is if you want action, you need to mail a registered letter with your concerns, safety, et cetera, to any authority. They must respond to your request in some form. You know what they'll say? The response say, "Hey, we got your letter. Thanks."
Yeah, because you're just one person. But if you go on social media, raise some hell, your message gets to them a lot better.
By the way, I emailed and messaged on Facebook McNally or rep, the Dem rep, no response.
Huh? No
response.
Yeah, because you're but one person. You know,
well,
you were but one.
It's the equivalent of Santos in the House, right? Santos came on. Why isn't the Dem doing it? Isn't this where I send her a letter saying, I demand you go to a town hall meeting?
See, let's talk about that. They're demanding.
We're getting to Rowley now.
Yeah, can we talk about Rowley, Michael Rowley?
Joe's got to go. He's busy. It's already time.
But I don't understand why
he doesn't care.
Sorry, Joe.
You get it.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Let's say you're having a birthday party.
Okay, I'm having a birthday party.
You're having a birthday party.
I'm having a birthday party.
All your friends are at the birthday party.
Okay.
Or no. The mean football player is having a birthday party, and all of his friends are there. And
wait.
And I'm the
I'm having a mean football player party.
You're having
Joe isn't there.
You're having a mean football player party. I'm a soccer player, and I know all those football players are there, and they're going to kick my ass. And they say, "Hey, come on out to the football party. We really are excited to see you." It's like, I'm going to get my ass beat. I'm not going to the football party.
Wait, hold on.
You're crazy.
So Isaac is referring to Michael Rowley being called out by Chris Anderson, the head of the Democratic Party.
He says, "Hey, this is such a
hold on. Let me set
Chris Anderson move.
Let me set the spins. Chris Anderson, head of the Mahoney County Democratic Party, sent a letter to Rowley and said, "We invite you to an open forum where Waltz, the vice president, is speaking. We want you to come in." Rowley says no. Okay. Says no. His letter was bad. His response was like, "I'm sorry, Chris. I'm busy in Washington, D.C., where I got elected, where your guys did." Like, it was really kind of...
He rubbed his face in
it, right?
Yeah, which isn't right. It's that I get that.
He should have just said, "Hey, sorry, man, can't make it."
Right.
But anyways, so then Anderson contacts the news. It's such an Anderson move. And is like, "Look, Rowley doesn't want to come. I invited him.
He doesn't want to communicate with his constituents." Bro, if freaking Waltz doesn't want to go to, who's the equivalent of Waltz, doesn't want to go to a far right
JD
Republican,
Vance,
JD Vance's Republican Party rally and stand up on the stage, what do you think's going to happen, dude? They're going to, Like, and I understand you went through, he doesn't want to talk to his constituents and
Get
all
outta
this
here
different
with
stuff.
your
What do you
politics
go like
crap.
if he goes? What do? You put him up on stage
And,
and everybody belittles him for an hour and a half?
Yeah, that was so
It's
dumb.
nothing
such a
more
political party
than
move.
a weak man play
Yeah.
of you're trying to make him look bad. And he's not going to go. You know he's not going to go. And you're just saying that and trying to move the chess pieces to make yourself look like this guy's a piece of crap
It
and
was
I'm
so
a good
gross.
person for trying to invite him to the rally. When he would go, if he went there, he'd be belittled
but then-
for 2.5
But then
hours.
Chris Anderson messaged me. He's
Right.
like, why aren't you and Isaac talking about why Ruley won't come? That's what he messaged. He goes, you ride the Democrats all the time. Why aren't you? I'm like, dude,
Like-
come on, bro.
Such a stupid play that and it's just so sad. You see the comments, man, and they're like, he needs to talk to his constituents. Like, yeah, but in the right format, like that.
I'm gonna invite Ruley on here. Do you want me to invite him on?
Yeah, I would say that to Chris's face. Like, how do you really expect
Yeah.
that man
Yeah.
to go there and not feel at least a tiny bit uncomfortable? Like, at the same exact time, I will say, I think Ruley trying to take the approach of I just got elected and I don't have to talk to people yet. I don't think that's the right play either. I would be an idiot if I sat here after telling leadership that they have to communicate with the public over and over and over and over to do the right thing and get out in front of issues.
Yeah.
Ruley should do the same thing.
I agree.
It's easy to go live on your phone and
just
say,
talk.
hey, here's the problem. People are saying I'm not talking to people. A, B, C, and D as to why I'm not talking to people and communicate with your constituents. But he's not doing that. But I don't think that's the right atmosphere to try and force him to go to a rally with all leftward leaning people.
Right.
Like, hey, Chris Anderson, being the Democratic, the head of the Democratic Party in Youngstown, you should go to a Klan meeting. You should go to a Ku Klux Klan meeting, and you should tell them why.
Probably not comparable,
the
but
Dems,
okay.
the Dems are right and they're wrong, and see what they do.
Yeah.
You think that'd be uncomfortable? You think you should go to a Trump rally?
Yeah, let's send
wearing a Waltz wearing a Waltz shirt.
Yeah, let's invite
and
him to a Trump
see
rally.
how. And I know you think that you would like. You're going to say, "Oh, that'd be dangerous because the right is a bunch of Nazis and they'd murder me." That's completely different.
Right.
They're not. They're bad people, and we're not bad people. Nothing would happen to Roy. That is dumb and doesn't make any sense.
We should wait for the next rally, like Republican rally, invite Chris and say, hey, we'll meet here. We want to interview at the meeting.
Yeah. Oh, well, the left isn't dangerous. You do realize they were just burning Teslas. Like they're just vandalizing Teslas. They're at least a little bit dangerous.
So funny. Well, that's it. We're at an hour. Joe's got so much work to do. Look at Joe is so stressed.
Where was he before the election took place?
Joe is so stressed. We need to get out
Joe
of here.
needs to go take a nap.
Why are you? Do you have a couch in here to nap? Do you ever nap? Have you ever napped in here?
Oh yeah.
That couch?
No, I back red couch.
Back red couch.
Yeah.
Porn couch.
All right.
Porn couch.
All right. Isaac, clear us out. Let's get out of here.
Couch. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for calling in if you did. We have another show coming up on Thursday. We are the MLO Bros, loan officers, real estate agents. If you need to buy a house, if you need rates, hopefully come down soon. If you need a refi, any type of mortgage, if you want to go see a house, buy a house.
The
if you
Dow rebounded 1,400 points today
that is so volatile.
on the
That's
rising
crazy.
hopes for tariff deals.
That is crazy volatility.
1,400 points.
That's crazy volatility. But if you want to buy a house, you want to sell your house, you want us to list your house, use this platform to sell, help you buy, whatever, we'll do that. If you want to record, come in studio, start your own podcast. Youngstown Studio is the place to be. They also have marketing department, all kinds of cool stuff. Call Joe, call Youngstown Studio. They'll take care of you. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube